First of all, let me say to you, General Alexander, that it was back in '01 that we talked about involving university. University of Tulsa has become quite a leader in this area. Have you had a chance to see some of their progress since you left this job?
The last I saw, Senator, was what they're doing in the industrial control systems, which I think is really good. And I think the capabilities and the students they provide back to the government is great. So I do think pushing with universities' education, just as you brought up, is something that we have to do.
Okay, the chairman talked about the stovepipes. I want to go back and just repeat a couple of things here. Everyone knows the FBI has the involvement in this thing, the Homeland Security, the Intelligence Committee, Department of Defense, and it's kind of, in this chart that all of you have seen, it's a little bit convoluted for those of us who are not as familiar with it as you folks are. Do each of you agree that the current structure should require some fundamental change?
Senator, I do.
Mm-hmm.
I echo Jim's comments of a moment ago, namely reorganizing, rewiring is not the solution. Too disruptive. But fundamental change in how it works, absolutely.
Yeah. Pretty much agree.
I have the chart, and I'll tell you that first, when we talk to the different agencies, they don't understand their roles and responsibilities.
Yeah.
So when you ask them who's defending what, you get a different response. And so even though this is the federal cybersecurity ops team, and this was put out by the White House to the commission, when we asked the individuals, they couldn't do it. The second part that you asked is, yes, I do think, Senator, it needs to be brought together. That's the strategy we should put in place. How do we defend this country? And then let's walk through it with the exercise and continuously evolve that.
Yeah, but the reason last week, Senator Rounds and I were in Israel, and we were talking to the head of Israel's National Cyber Directorate, this Dr. Evitar Matanya. And he said that Israel has been one of the first countries to prepare the cybersecurity challenges using 3 primary processes: providing education and information on all cyber-related issues to business and industry leaders, establishing the Israeli National Cyber Authority, and pursuing the development of cyber technology throughout the country, including the Academic and Educational Institute. He also said during the meeting that Israel has unified all cyber operations under one doctrine, one strategy, and a single point of accountability. I would ask you, are there some lessons we can learn? And generally, we're pretty turf-oriented around this country, but are there some? Do his comments make any sense to you as to how they're doing it?
Senator, the comments make a lot of sense. That common approach to engaging industry with information and a systematic effort to do that would be very valuable. I second General Alexander's earlier comments that in my experience, sometimes industry is unsure with whom to engage, and the people on the government side are sometimes unsure who has that responsibility as well.
Yeah.
And fundamentally, as you look at going from not just strategy, but to the ability to implement strategy, having a single a point of accountability and responsibility below the level of a national security advisor or a deputy national security advisor who ought to be focused on strategy and policy does make a lot of sense to me, and it's why I think a joint interagency task force makes sense as a model to look at.
I agree, and I appreciate that. General Alexander, they told us that you are going to be speaking over there in June. You might get with them and go over this and just, there are always other ideas out there. I suggest that'd be a pretty good idea.
Will do, Senator.
Okay. One issue, and this you brought this up, Dr. Miller, in your statement. You said updated declaratory policy that makes clear the United States will respond to all cyber attacks. The question will not be whether, but how. And of course, you brought up something, Dr. Fields. You said in your 8th point, you said credibility is a necessary enabler of deterrence. If a leader we want to deter does not believe we will act, it is difficult to deter. announcing red lines and then overlooking offenses is not constructive. I think that that has happened. How do you reestablish credibility, assuming that some of it has been lost?
You reestablish credibility not by making a declaration alone, but by acting. We have so many cyber intrusions going on every day that there's plenty of opportunity to act.
Sounds good. You all agree with that? Thank you, Mr. Chairman.
Senator Sheehan.
Thank you, Mr. Chairman, and thank you, gentlemen, for being here today. I would like to pick